Welcome to episode 989, the Winklevoss twins, from cheating out of Facebook to Bitcoin billionaires, 9 lessons. This is an outline of episode 989, lesson 1 to 5. This is lesson 6 to 9. Lesson 1, the network effect, that is N square of Facebook and Bitcoin.
Value of networks is Metcalfe's law. It's n squared. So the amount of users on a network is n. And so if I'm the only person in the world who has a phone, then it's not very valuable. I can't call you. But if you buy a phone, you've actually increased the value of my phone inadvertently or not even knowing, because now all of a sudden my phone's useful. Same thing with the social network. If you look at Facebook, the first person on Facebook, lonely place, not much to do. All of a sudden, 100 people, you can connect with people, you can share stories, share pictures.
That's a good analogy.
So it's classic network effects. 1 billion people on Facebook, that's 1 billion squared, right? So that's all of a sudden the value gets exponentially greater, and that's how we value Bitcoin. Money is a network.
Lesson 2, Facebook started as looking for the hot chicks. The year was 2003. The first website is called the Harvard Connection, and then it evolved into Connect You. Lesson 3, the settlement that Mark Zuckerberg stole the idea of Facebook from the Winklevoss twins. The amount was $65 million in stocks. Lesson 4, the Winklevoss twins are the comeback kids.
For Facebook?
So it was really my fault, actually. When I first met the Winklevoss twins, I grew up on 80s movies, and they were immediately the bad guys, you know? They looked like the guys in skeleton costumes chasing the Karate Kid around the gym. And when I wrote Accidental Billionaires, you know, they were the alpha males. They were these, you know, almost a joke. And I think that carried afterwards. Everyone saw Zuckerberg as the lovable nerd and them as the bad guys. But that was actually wrong.
We are all wrong because the Winklevoss twins came back strongly as Bitcoin billionaires. Lesson 5, Eduardo Saverin was paid $5 billion to shut up.
Facebook settled with Eduardo for $5 billion. The top of the settlement agreement says you may never speak to Ben Mesrick again because they were trying to stop the book. So Eduardo cut off all contact with me. He broke up with his girlfriend because it was my wife's best friend. And then he moved to Singapore, never to be heard from again. Now, I understand, for $5 billion, none of you would ever speak to me again.
In case you're interested in Eduardo Saverin, please watch episode 458 of this channel. Lesson 6, no one in Silicon Valley wanted to talk to the Winklevoss twin.
Facebook IPO'd, they became worth $500 million. A lot of money. So they decided they would become Silicon Valley investors. They went out to California and tried to invest, and nobody would take their money because everyone's end game in Silicon Valley is to sell to Facebook. And Mark will not buy your company if the Winklevoss are on your spreadsheet. So the
Lesson 7, talk is cheap.
We've been working really hard to give Jamie Dimon an opportunity to short Bitcoin, and anybody who says that, you know, it's a fraud or a bubble, you can go now put your money where your mouth is and bet against it. Yeah, I mean, talk is cheap, and that's right. Now you can actually, like Cameron said, you can bet against this. So we.
Lesson 8, they own 1% of Bitcoin.
Decision, which is to buy 1% of all of the Bitcoins in the world.
You know, some people, they might dive off a diving board. I think in this case, we took a cannonball off the diving board.
Both of you at the same time. Yeah. What was the price then?
I think our first Bitcoin was in the high single digits.
That's $8 or $9.
Lesson 9, the Winklevoss twins were Olympians. They represented the United States in the 2008 Beijing Olympic and finished 6th place in rowing. They are a perfect specimen of human fitness. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.